Today I'm going to talk about my reading goals for 2023 and share my progress on those said goals. For those who are new here, welcome. My name is Harmony and I talk about books, book reviews, sometimes money saving ideas and anything else that springs to mind and is worth contemplating and discussing. If you're new here, as I say, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my reading goals for 2023 that I set at the start of the year, and of course I'm going to share my progress on those said goals because it's just over halfway through the year at the time of recording this. I'm recording this in the first week in July, well, the end of the first week in July. So at the start of the year, I decided that I wanted to read 44 books, or rather finish 44 books, 4 of which were left over from last year, 2022, and that goal was primarily made up of the Poirot series by Agatha Christie, and also the 4 or 5 books that I started in 2022 but never actually got around to finishing. So that was that plan, and then there was a few other books that I wanted to get around to reading, like some more Peter May books, namely the Lewis trilogy, which I've now downloaded but I have yet to read, and probably 1 or 2 others. Sadly, I have not actually read most of the Poirot series because although I've read a couple of them, most of them are really hard to find in electronic braille. Having said that though, I have done some reading this year, but my reading progress has been a lot slower because of various life things. So let's get into some actual statistics. So I've only reached about 16% of my goal. I finished 7 books as of the start of July, making 16%, which is sad, but oh well. Number of pages read. Now, I had decided for some reason that I would like to read 6,000 pages, because at that time I didn't know how long the books were that I wanted to read. Well, so far I've read 2,524 pages, which is 42%. Let's start with the moods of the books that I've been reading. The books that I finished. Mysterious was 3 books for an average of 25%. Reflective, emotional and dark was 2 books, 17%. And informative was 1 book at 8%, as was hopeful and challenging were also 1 book. So the pace of the books that I've read, I only read 1 slow-paced book, so 14%, 1 out of the 7, 2 medium-paced books at 29%, and 4 fast-paced books, so 57%. So over half the books that I've read so far this year have been fast-paced. Interesting. The length of the books that I've read so far, less than 300 pages is 3 books. So some of those books have been fairly short apparently. 3 books at 43%. 300 to 499 pages is another 3 books at 43%, so okay, fair enough. 500 pages plus, so over 500 pages is only 1 book. That's about to change, well, going to change at some point during the remainder of the year, because I actually prefer to read longer books, well, mid to long books, and I'm currently reading a 707-page book. So yeah, that will be changing. When, I don't know, but Fiction versus non-fiction. Okay. This is interesting. A pretty even split so far. 4 fiction books at 57% and 3 non-fiction books at 43%. As far as fiction versus non-fiction goes though, that will be changing because at the time of recording I'm reading 3 books. 2 of those are non-fiction and 1 is a fiction book. So there's a bar chart on this page of the story graph on my stats page. I've taken a screenshot of this stats page of the story graph, but I don't know if it will actually show for very long on screen. But there's a bar chart with all the genres that I've read so far in it. So if we go through that, the x-axis of that bar chart is the genre and the y-axis is the number of books. Mystery and crime both have 3 books. Classics has 2 books. And true crime, history, memoirs, fantasy, contemporary, biography and autobiography also have only 1 book. Now I think the contemporary one was probably The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I'm hoping I would have been able to put the screenshot at the start of this video, but I will have to see what happens with that one. Does anyone else use Storygraph? I've only got 1 person on my Storygraph at the minute I'm only following. But if anyone else uses Storygraph, you can feel free to add me. My username on there is HarmonyLN7. In fact, who wants me to leave a link to my Storygraph profile in there, in the comments? I use Storygraph now a lot more than I use Goodreads. I like the charts and the little things on it. I like the charts and graphs and things on it. Who else has been keeping track of their reading progress this year? I'm disappointed with my own reading goals. Well, I'm not disappointed with the goals, but I'm more disappointed with the progress. Although I will be having more time to read over the course of this month and probably the remainder of the year, because I'll be having fewer appointments and fewer things to do. If you enjoyed that video, then feel free to like, leave a comment, share with your friends, or if you like my channel so far, you can feel free to subscribe if you want. And I shall see you guys in the next video.